Alright, so I guess this is welcome back to Minecraft. Let me clear my throat for a second. This is welcome back to Minecraft with whatever the hell my username is. I don't really know, if I'm being honest. This is what I am quite self-indulgently calling my epic build map. Just one second, let me turn that down a little bit. It's a little too loud. Nope. Options. Just for the recording. Let's try it right about there. Very nice. So anyways, this is my epic build map, if my viewers are familiar with it. It's a pretty large map, and I think it'll, the process of me constructing it will make a pretty decent series. Now, right now, I'm inside one of the castle walls, and I'm going to go out and show you a little bit of the world. Even though I've done this one time before, it wasn't so great, and the world wasn't nearly as fleshed out as it is now. Now, I'm not very familiar on the names of my castle parts. I went over to Europe for a little while, learned a little bit about castles and their construction, but hell, I don't know what these are called. And yes, it snows now that I have an update, or updated the world. For some reason, this became a snowy biome. There we are. It used to only rain here, but now it snows. So, that's a nice addition. You can see how this world feels pretty nice from down here on the ground. And it is a castle, so it is a fortification. And this is all a little bit ugly because, hey, this isn't the pretty part. But this is a pretty large section of town I've built. Holy, I think there's I don't remember the numbers on my homes. I used to know exactly how many homes were in here and how many rooms and how many beds. You can see where there's a wall here, a little district wall, before it goes out into this other section of town. Slightly nicer homes out there than, got turned around. Slightly nicer homes out here than in here. Have a church over there, right there, and a government office right there. Over here we also have some apartment buildings, these two being identical. This guy right here being pretty standard, but good use of space. Let me close the doors on there, don't want it to get too chilly inside. Being a good use of space, I like the design on this one, and I really like the design on this apartment building. One of my things where I'm building is I like to keep it somewhat realistic. So every building here has natural light able to get in. And these are meant to be sort of low income housing. This area, this is sort of I don't want to call it a slum, but this isn't the best part of town, so obviously these guys get a little less natural light. But the layout of this is there is 3 or 4, I don't remember exactly how many, apartments on each side on the bottom, and the same number directly above them. And sorry, I'm not used to this mouse. It's I think my sensitivity's up a little too high. I keep getting turned around. Here's another one of my bell towers. And the reason I left this section, these two very small blocks of houses undone, was because halfway through building them, I realized they look pretty awesome. It looks sort of like ruins, but it also gives you an idea of how I actually build. Now, there is lots of rules I came up with as to how to build these houses, particularly. And I think I see a problem right here. That might be a minor problem. Anyways, essentially there are rules like houses can't share walls. Each of these has to be their own structure. There is one hidden violation of that rule in this huge block of living space, we'll call it. But that'll be for you guys to find once you start to play it. Now, I am a little bit of a nerd, so I like to think about all this stuff in very bureaucratic and government ways. So, essentially, all of these houses, except for one, are up to code. And that's just my little code. We'll see who can find it. Since my last video, I also completed... It's getting nighttime, so let's... There we go. Also created a fountain, a nice big fountain, which has, like everything else in this world, frozen over. Now this area down here is going to be all markets. You can see how much space I have bombed out for later building. This is sort of the end of the fortified area right here, as well as, well, I don't really know what I'm going to do over here yet. And I've left this entire block of housing, this entire district, I'll call it, completely untouched as of right now. I like the layout of it a lot more than I like the layout on the other side. Let me go straight up so you can see it. I don't know why, I just do. It feels a little more maze-like, like sort of a slum that's just barely government maintained. And I like that idea. That's kind of the idea behind these districts, is that they are essentially the public housing of this world, of this kingdom. That sign right there is just the measurement sign. But I like it because there's a lot more up and down. There's a lot more high areas and low areas. I think there's actually... I believe I actually have... No, it's the same number of gates in and out, but the reason I left this area barren was so that everyone could see it before I started building. I think it looks really cool this way. And now for something very special, I think you're all going to like. I have a machine set up over here. And I'll show you what's going on. Now this is all a very complicated trigger mechanism. Whereas I have to activate these switches in the correct order, and they will activate this redstone timer. Go through this, basically a very basic safety system. And if I don't activate these all in the right order and use my... actually, it's been a while since I've used this, so I don't remember if I hit that last or first. But anyways, once everything is activated correctly on here, the redstone signal will go back and forth and activate one of these switches at a time, eventually connecting to this and going into an area of dynamite. Now, as you will see, it is quite a large area of dynamite, and it is very particularly laid out. It took me a lot of time to do this, and it is going to pay off. I don't think I'm quite done with it yet. What is particular about the layout, hello Mr. Villager, what is particular about the layout of this TNT is that when it goes off, it is laid out in such a way that it will blow off every bit of the dirt. Every bit of the dirt that is around it. All the way down to the cobblestone, or not the cobblestone, the stone layer. And at the stone layer, it will stop. So this entire area, from all the way in this corner to all the way back to my machine, to right about there, will all go to very, very flat stone very quickly. Now, it is timed out through these redstone mechanisms, so each line will, let me get flying, so each line will detonate individually. That will hopefully help me manage lag. And this music is getting very loud again. Very quiet, thank you. And once all of that is cleared out, we'll have what I would like to think is the largest controlled, now that's a very important word, controlled explosion or single, I don't know, off a single fuse type detonation from a single action sort of explosion in Minecraft, because it is extremely controlled. So sure, I could put a million blocks of TNT and blow it up and crash my game, or I could be very scientific with my layout and have a large controlled blast. That's my bureaucratic side coming out again. So I think it's a pretty half-assed tour of the world, but I think you understand. Here's my tower. That's another concept that I had going into the beginning of this. Okay, I don't know what this is. Right there. Okay. I'm getting bogged down in unimportant work. I had the idea to make sure that some designs at least reappeared. And that tower back there was a tower that appeared in the very front of the level, and now you get to see it again back here. Now I will point out one little thing. That this bridge, all the way from that big tower right there, all the way down, I don't like it. I don't like it. It's going to have to go. Actually, that's a lie. I like it up until this point right here. And what happens is it gets way too close to this tower, which was okay on some of the stuff right there at the very beginning because it has to be close, but this stuff out here should not be this close. The only problem is the churches right here. This tower, directly in front of my mouse sensitivity, this tower, oh my god, this tower, very slowly, almost directly in front of that door. So to pull that out, I would have to come in front of the church. And one of the nice things about the front of the church is that it's an open space, like you see in front of large churches. And you're like, well, this is connected to all of that. So the tower should be the thing that would stay put. Or I could just move the tower line along the district wall, but there's some issues there. Issue with that is that would mean I would have to move, sorry, I got off track. If I kept the tower where it is and I moved the church, I mean, it's not huge, I could definitely rebuild this, right? Well, not really. There's mausoleums. There's a huge network of crypts, and I do mean huge, under the church. So the church has got to stay put. And the tower is going to be extremely hard to reroute. So, conundrum. And this was my best solution, was to just freaking weather. Was to simply drop this down so that this has a vantage on it. But alas, that's probably not going to work. And I think I'm at about time. I'll just take a minute to explain a little bit more about this area. As you can see, the roads go from 4 wide in here, 1, 2, 3, 4, to 6 wide, I believe, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, 6 wide out here. Now what this area is going to be, is it's going to be a small farming area before we pick back up on sort of what would have actually been in a city of the period that I'm roughly imitating, which would be mostly apartments. And this is the monastery, with cells and a small school and access directly to the church. Details, folks. So, that's my long and rambling video for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. Maybe I can get some likes and some subscriptions off this. Get that view count up. I appreciate you guys watching, and have a nice day.